Hello, this is Judy. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am a close to my heart maker, and there is a link to my website in the video description. All of my social media links are on my main YouTube channel page. Please contact me if you have any questions. Today we're going to be working on a layout using the Happiness Lives Here paper collection. The layout you see is the one created by Close to My Heart artist. And this is the sketch I'm going to use to create my layout today. And this is how my layout turned out. So let's get to work in creating it. Here you see the two layouts that Close to My Heart made for this paper collection. And I cut out all the pieces and the pages are there. So I put one aside and I'm going to work on the left page. And I'm just going to take all the pieces off and try to use those sizes to make them my own using the sketch that you see up in the corner. It's a challenge to me to do this, but I like it. I like using what I have to create a layout that's uniquely my own. So I pulled out some pictures, and these are quite old, from quite a while ago. And I'm going to make a page for my daughter. She's the little one there with her grandpa, and they were in the barn, and the other one is with my cousin that came to visit, and she's always such a happy little girl. But I'm going to cut down these pictures to fit what I need, and that one bluebell piece there is actually the photo mat, and I'm going to put two pictures on that photo mat, and then use this picture as a square photo off to the left. So this is what you call making it work. So I slice and dice these to make them fit, and it's okay. The picture wasn't real clear, and a cow is a cow is a cow, so I didn't mind cutting off a couple of them from the sides. So I measured that other piece, and I'm going to cut down this picture, and I'm going to cut from all the sides because, not one side would have cut off enough to make it fit on that mat. And I used my ATG gun to put these down quickly. It's really good. I like to use it on my photos. I use liquid glass or liquid glue for most of my cardstock and paper, but not on my pictures. So now I'm going to try and lay it out to match the sketch that you see in the corner. And I think I keep that there the whole video. And I take my papers here and I'm going to layer them up to meet as best as I can. I think it was Chamel that said, if you're going to layer papers like this, don't have them meeting, have them off slightly from each other. Because I can't line anything straight. So if I can have them offset, that's better for me. And this is how I do my dovetails. I slightly bend the paper to meet in the middle. A lot of people will go from the center up and then both sides in. But I like doing this, and if I don't put a crease in the paper, it works out just fine without folding it. Now I'm just going to manipulate these papers so that I like how they look. And this piece is one of the exclusive papers, and I wanted it to be the whole length. So there, I cut it in half so I could put one at the top and one at the bottom, and no one will ever know. And I think in a minute here I'm going to go through with the embellishments and laying all those out to see how they look. So I'll let the music play for a minute and I'll be back. Now I'm going to check out some stamp sets to see what I can make work for me. And I really like that pound sign with the friends. And the sketch has a notebook type paper. So I got that one stamp, and it was actually a Cricut cut. So I cut it on my Cricut, and you see it there with the yellow paper. And now I'm going to stamp some lines on it for my journaling with that cinnamon ink to match the paper collection. And I turned over my Versamat to use the dense foam side to stamp on. It's really good for stamping. And there I have that layered up. That looks really good there. I love that dash of, I think it's Sundance paper. Yes, that. I love yellow. You probably hear me say that every video, but. And then I saw there's a little space in between the two pictures on that bluebell mat, and I wanted to put something there, so I pulled out a little stamp from the stamp of the month for February. It says love, joy, happiness. So I stamped that on there, and I'm going to pull out one of the other stamps to do on the sides. And yeah, I use everything to stamp off. I flipped over my paper. I hope I don't need to use that side, right? Oh goodness, I make use of anything that's on my desk. It's a mask now. It's a paper layer, a mask, a journaling box. It's everything. Okay, so that looks good. Now I'm going to start layering everything up. And this is a reverse layering technique I like to do when I have a lot of papers like this. I go from the photo down, and I attach it as I go, and then I'll put everything down on the paper. This way I'm not trying to slide everything underneath. And I flip over my Versamat so that I can line these papers back up again, because the grid on the other side is a perfect 12 by 12 in 1/4 inch increments, so it's really handy. So I just line the one piece up at the top there, and then slide the other one underneath to line up. No reason to get a T-square out, although my T-square is well loved. I do use it a lot. And there, see how much easier it is to layer these up with that reverse layering. And I'm not lining up any of the papers. I am offsetting them all. So I don't want the bluebell lining up with that smoothie cinnamon pillow ticking type design. And then the white banner there, I'm not lining up with anything. I want it offset, and the same with this blue piece. It really makes it more pleasing to the eye when you do that. It's either all lined up or none of it lined up. Okay, that's all working out good. And I'll be back. just had to say that the embellishments don't turn out anything like that. Well, they do a little bit. They're in the same area, but I totally change it up. And trying to use all the pieces that were cut out for this page is what I was trying to do. And then I just said, I don't have to use them all. It's okay. So I used what I liked and put some aside. You'll see that when I actually adhere the embellishments. And now I'm taking that Pound Friends stamp and I'm going to stamp it out, and I'm trying to figure out what color to use. And I'm thinking I'm going to use a color to match that flower. So I checked the zip strips to see what colors included in the collection, and Smoothie was one of them, and I thought that would bring up that color to the upper left corner is where I'm going to put that as actually for my title, which is what the sketch says. So I did follow that. And this was a stamp set that was quite old, but I don't think I ever used this particular stamp, so I had to make sure I had a good collection of ink. And there I go, cleaning it off on the back side, and my well-loved chamois. So I got to cut it out now because it's that old that there were no thin cuts, but I think it was when everything was cut out with the Cricut, which I still use, as you can see on that other, the notebook paper. So now I think I'm going to use a little banner there to do friends and family. That's what I want to stamp on, and I'm going to use that alphabet stamp. It's actually, I think, a farmhouse stamp set, and it doesn't look like farm related to me, but it said farm, so I used it. And our clear blocks have a little line at the bottom of them, and it made it really easy to line up these letters to stamp it out all in at one time rather than each letter at a time, which I'm not good at lining them up at all. So I was pretty proud of myself that I got this one lined up really straight. And this is a little sped up, so it took me a little bit of manipulating, much longer than what you're seeing in the video, right? So I'm going to test it out on the back of the banner. Hopefully it comes out good. Hopefully the ink doesn't bleed and go through to the other side, right? But yeah, I was really happy with that. That turned out really straight. And there I stamped it towards the bottom because I'm going to overlap the Pound Friends. And I clean it off on the other side again. Oh, I need scrap paper at my disposal all the time. So that's a cute title. I like that because there are friends and family in the picture for her. And the journaling that I write talks about that. So now I'm going to start trying to manipulate these embellishments again, and I'm going to pull out some packaging material like cardboard, what have you, that is left over from different things, and I use my glue gun to adhere some of these pieces down. I don't put any of the glue on the pictures or anything, but on the paper it's fine, and it's quick and handy and inexpensive, and it works really good on these wood pieces. So here comes the packaging. I just want to jump on here and note that I'm using a piece of paper to back that wood piece and glue it on there. It's a really neat way to back it so you don't see the paper underneath it. Alright, so journaling is usually the last thing I do, and I realized that I still had a little bit left to do with this sketch. It has some outline circles around the pieces, so I got out a long border stamp and tried to manipulate it on my block, but didn't, and so I pulled out my tape roll and used that to guide me to make it a good circle. And now I'm going to stamp it on this page, and there I pulled out some real scrap paper to use as a mask. And I'm going to use Bluebell because that is a color that is in the collection. And I'm just moving around my mask to make sure I don't stamp on anything that I shouldn't. And I love this. It's a dashed long stamp, and I used it quite a bit. I love using it as my borders for my pages. And this is a different idea for me, and I'm glad that I use this sketch because it kind of encompasses the layout inside the circles. So that's your border. So I don't need to put a border around the outside of the layout like I normally do. Nor did I have to layer it on a solid piece to make it pleasing to my eye, which is probably what I'm doing, you know, that's pleasing to me to have a border around the outside of my page. So this worked great. And at the end, you will see close-ups. Thank you for joining me here. Please subscribe if you're not. Hit the notification bell, the thumbs up, and all that good stuff. And I'll be back with more videos.